Alright, what's good, folks? Welcome back to another What If Yo, and this is Dark19, and I believe this is What If Deku Was Jin Kazuma's Reincarnation Part 3. So, yeah, I believe where we last left off. It's been a while since I did this. What was it? The entrance exam, I believe. And I don't think it was the entrance exam and all that jazz. I don't know, it's been a while. So if you want to know, go ahead and watch part 2 or 1 or whatever. But I'm let's start this. So yeah, we start the story with Deku and Roomie making their way to UA. And as you know, Roomie is a Miracle, but aged down to be in UA, you know what I'm saying? And they've been sort of enjoying themselves. Well, at UA. Well, Roomie's been enjoying herself. You can't really tell with Izuku, as Roomie would often wonder about her close friend Izuku, as she knows that he could care less about being a hero. She knows he's an amazing fighter and her greatest rival that she wants to surpass one day, but she worries for him often. And as for Deku, he feels that he haven't gotten any closer to his goal, to take his revenge on All For One for destroying his village, if you guys forgot about that. And almost every night the rage would fill Deku. The rage that that he feels has never left him. But, they would put those thoughts aside as the two would finally reach UA, seeing a whole bunch of news reporters in front, asking about All Might and all that jazz. As Deku would only ignore them, pushing through, while Roomie would, put up some conversation and smile, but try to keep up with Deku. But yeah, getting past all that, in class, everyone would be seated, waiting as they, some of them speak with each other as they wait for Aizawa to enter. As Aizawa would enter the class, getting his students' attention. As he speaks up, saying that eventually we will be heading towards the USJ, which gets the class pretty excited. But before they do go to the USJ, they would head for lunch first, as Deku would try to eat by himself. But as you already know, Roomie and Ochako, Kurashima would sit with him. Would sit with him as Kurashima is amazed of Deku's quote-unquote manliness. As for Roomie, you guys should already know, and Ochako, you guys should already know. But yeah, Ochako would, speak up, or as they're eating, as you said, as she looks towards Deku, saying that, "Are you excited for the training for the USJ?" As Deku, not really much in a speaking mood, because when is he ever, would merely just look at Ochako, not really saying much of a word, which only makes her, which only makes her blush. But Ochako would go on with whatever conversation she's trying to have with Deku, until someone would bump Deku in the head, almost making him drop his fork as he was trying to eat. And as Deku would look back, you should already know that as Monoma, with a smug face, would look towards Deku, saying, "Oh, my bad, you Class A loser. Didn't see you there." As Roomie, not taking that lightly, would death stare Monoma, saying, "Bullshit. You were watching him this whole time. You did that on purpose, you asshole." As the two would argue back and forth, as Ochako would try to console Deku, as she can see on his face that he's not happy. And as he gets angrier and angrier, red sparks would flow across his hand until he gets up, boom, backhands Monoma. But before the dude could even go flying, Deku would grab his shirt, then pick him up, bam, slam his ass on the table, basically knocking him out. As everyone in everyone's attention in the cafeteria, as Roomie think that was a bit much, but she honestly don't care, while Ochako is only worried about Deku's well-being. And you already know bitch boy Ida would have a problem with that, as he would do the fucking choppy shit, whatever, join and complain that, "Oh, you shouldn't be using your quirk against students, you just broke school property, blah blah blah, and all that crap, you should be expelled." But this also gets the attention of another 1B student, Kendo, as she would step up towards Deku, saying, "What the hell was that for? I know he could be kind of a jerk, but you didn't have to slam him on the damn table." As and Deku, he would not care at all of what this girl's saying, as he would kind of stare her down a bit, as the aura would his aura would kind of pulse around him, which would kind of scare Kendo a bit, as this is not something they can see, but feel, as you can say, because he already had to deal with Motoma's annoying shit, and now this random ass girl is getting on him, getting on him for doing something that, you know, was pretty much payback. It just, you know, it annoys you. And, you know, Roomie, seeing this, doesn't want Deku to get expelled for knocking out this chick. So she would just, you know, step in, pushing, you know, Kendo away. Not really a rough push, just a push itself. Telling her to, you know, just get your friend and go back to whatever table you were eating at. As you know, Roomie would death stare her down, which sort of scares Kendo. So she would just pick up Modema and, you know, burn table they were eating at 1B. Who cares? As the day would sort of move on. As 1A would, you know, finish their lunches and make their way onto the bus, which is heading towards the USJ. And while on the bus, the class would be discussing on who's the strongest in the class, as Momo would speak up saying, "It's Tortoroki. He has like 2 quirks. He's obviously the strongest in our class." While, you know, Kirishima would be like, as Kirishima would speak up saying, "No way. Did you see Kazuma? He was so manly in that fight against Bakugo." Did he? I think it was Bakugo, right? In part 2, the heroes versus villain. I could be wrong. You can correct me in the comments if I am. But yeah, Kirishima would be like, "Yeah, that fight between him and Bakugo. It was almost as if Bakugo was standing still. Deku's the strongest." As most of the class would sort of go back and forth on who might be the strongest. And basically, you know, Bakugo not really happy with the fight that he's got in versus villains, would be quite angry at Deku, because pretty much, did Deku go to his school? No, I don't think Deku went to his school. But yeah, Bakugo would just be, you know, quite upset with Deku and just wanting to beat him in a fight 101. But yeah, that discussion would go on until Suyu would speak up saying, what exactly is Kazuma's quirk anyway? As the class, hearing that question, would, you know, would pretty much get light bulbs over their heads, as they don't really know what Deku's quirk is, as they would all look at him. What Deku would say, as Vida speaks up saying, "Hey, Kazuma, what is your quirk?" With an excited smile on her face, as Deku would say, "I don't know." Which would shock the whole class. "What do you mean you don't know? You don't know? Know what your quirk is," Momo would mention. As, you know, Deku would just give her a half shrug saying, I just don't know. So just leave it there. So, the class would slouch down their seats in defeat, as they already know they're not gonna really get anything out of Izuku, Bakugo would only laugh at this, saying that it's kind of lame that you even know which your quirk is. I bet it has some lame ass name on like explosions, you know what I'm saying? Just some dumb bullshit you would, make up. As Deku would only ignore this. But yeah. After all that jazz, the bus would finally make it to the USJ, as Aizawa would escort everyone towards the building, telling them to behave themselves and, don't embarrass him while in the USJ that is being run by 13, which only gets Ochako excited knowing that her favorite hero runs this place. So yeah, they would meet 13, and she would explain everything on what the class is going to be doing and how things are going to work. But, before things could get, done, black portals would open up. As a few villains would come in. And behind the villains are buff, robot-like guys with mohawks. With Jack 6 written on their shirts, as you can say, or chest plate, whatever you want to call it. As Kurashima would point that out, saying, "Oh, look, fake villains. That's awesome." And Aizawa, knowing that the USA has no type of fake villains, would tell 13 to get the kids to safety. But Shigaraki, not having that type of shit, would tell Portal Man, whatever his name is, Fudge, I don't remember what his name was. He would tell Portal Man to fuck, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm not gonna call him fucking Portal Man. Gary, that's his fucking name. Not Portal Man, I'm sorry. But yeah, before 13 could get the class to safety, Shigaraki would tell Kurogiri to teleport everyone to random areas or whatnot. So most of the class would get teleported as our boy Deku would be sort of falling as he would see a water area in a boat, and a few Jack 6s. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, Jack 6 is from Tekken also. And it's like some robot thing. I'm gonna, put in a few Tekken stuff up in here, but not like, a whole bunch of shit. But yeah. So yeah, it's falling. He would see a few Jack 6s, flying towards the boat. Well, not being flying, being launched towards the boat. As Froppy, who has been teleported to the same area, would grab Deku with her tongue, pulling him towards her as they land on the boat. Deku hitting that superhero landing would, get up as a Jack 6 would come swinging across Deku's face, but he would easily dodge it as boom, he would punch one of the Jacks through the stomach, and Deku, seeing that it's a robot, clearly he could tell that he doesn't have to hold back, as he throws his other fist through the hole he just punched through and basically split that Jack apart. As the others Jacks would come in, Deku would easily dodge and break all of them. One would come in swinging, boom, rip his arm off, and then bam, bash his head with that one, and basically uppercut its head off its body, and then kicking it into the river, as being that it has electric insides, would kind of shock the water villains that were kind of swimming around the boat, basically knocking them out. And so Deku would easily deal with the rest of the robots on the boat, as he would look towards Tsuyu and Mineta, who was, well, no, not Mineta, Tsuyu, because Mineta is in class B. He's in class 1B. I probably didn't mention the other parts, but yeah, he's in class 1B. So yeah, it's just Deku and Tsuyu on the boat, as Tsuyu sorta scared, because she's never seen these robot creatures before, and they seem more advanced than the Zero Pointers they had to face. So she would look towards Deku, wondering what they should do, and Deku, who would have his arms crossed and his eyes closed, as he would think on what he has to do in this situation. So, as he thinks, one of the Jack 6s would come in flying, which would give Deku an idea, as he picks up Tsuyu bridal style. Tsuyu feeling up on the muscles and all that, which make her blush and all. As Deku would do some parkour action, jumping towards the Jack 6, kicking its head as it falls off, as he somehow lead the flying robot creature thing towards the beach area as they, jump towards land, anime logic. Wait, no. Retcon that shit. Retcon what I just said. He pulls a Raiden, right? A whole bunch of Jack 6s are being launched at the boat. More Jack 6s are being launched at the boat. He still grabs Suyu, parkour action, but he jumps on one Jack 6 and then another and then another and another, basically pulling a Raiden when he was jumping on those missiles. Yeah, he pretty much does that until he finally gets on land. Yeah, that's way cooler and way more believable on, Deku's abilities. Because the fucker, he can't fly or anything like that. He's more did anything. But yeah, they would finally get on land as Deku would tell Froppy, or will tell Froppy to go find the others, as he would try to find the source of all this. So he would go through the USJ, bashing a few villains' heads in and absolutely destroying more of those jacks until he would come across Roomie, who is fighting alongside, I was about to say Aizen, Aizawa. She's fighting alongside Aizawa as she's jumping around using her superior agility and her bunny light quirk, basically kicking through these robots easily and basically knocking all these villains out, as Aizawa is, you already know Aizawa, he's doing this thing. So Shigaraki, annoyed with all this, would look towards Shigaraki. He would look towards Kurogiri and tell him, do it. So Kurogiri would open the portal as something would step out. As it looks like one of the jacks, but it's way bigger, a lot more bulkier. It seems way more advanced, as on its shirt or chest plate would say Jack 7. And so Shigaraki would tell the Jack 7 to go, as it basically charges towards Aizawa. Boom! Knocking him at his side as Aizawa would try to block, as it basically rendered his right arm useless for the fight, as more villains would try to attack Aizawa. But as the Jack 7 charges once more, it would basically run down any villain in front of it, as it really doesn't care, only wants to destroy its intended target. As Roomie seen would jump towards Aizawa, rescuing him, and before the Jack 7 can turn around to attack, it would, as boom, a kick to the head, as Deku would basically stomp on the Jack 7, But Deku would see that that kick barely did nothing, as it only left a dent. As Seven would get up, grabbing Deku's leg, flinging him across the area, the courtyard, as he would get his bearings in mid-air, landing safely down. As Roomie would jump right next to Deku, as they would take their stance against the Jack 7. So the Jack would charge towards the both of them. As Roomie would jump in the air, as Deku would take the ground, dodging one of its punches, and then trying to put through the stomach, as it leaves a dent, but it doesn't go through. As Roomie would kick the creature in the robot in the head, but it would easily grab her leg, pulling her forward and headbutting her across the yard. But she wouldn't go flying, as Deku would easily grab her leg, as he would swing her towards the Jack 7, as she would do an uppercut towards the robot, sending it back a little. And as Roomie uppercuts the robot, Deku would have thrown her in the air, as he would do an axe kick towards the robot's head, as Roomie would have elbowed the Jack at the same time as Deku's axe kick, which would send the robot flying. As Sugar Rocky would sort of be irritated with this, as he would, tell the Jack 7 to stop playing around and kill these kids. So the robot would get up, analyze the situation, and seeing Roomie might be a potential weakness, he would basically charge towards Deku, as Roomie, being a bit protective, would get in front of Deku, which the Jack 7 was expecting, as it would fully charge forward, full powered, and try to land a punch on Roomie. But Deku would push her aside, blocking the hit, as his arm kind of snaps, as Deku in his head, like, fuck, what is with this damn robot? As he would try to swing on the Jack 7 with his good arm, but it would easily block, and then boom, big boot to Deku's face, as he basically goes flying, hitting the concrete, dazed and all. And Roomie, seeing this, would be quite pissed, as she would try to do some damage, as she is as on all, but this, you know, isn't pro hero Mirako, who has, you know, several experience, who had, you know, long time experience dealing with, you know, villains. This is a newbie, still a new Mirako. So yeah, she would, you know, easily, she would do some damage, easily dodging the Jack, as she has superior agility, but what she doesn't know is that, you know, is that there are still other villains around, as Kurogiri would have teleported Shigaraki behind Roomie, as he would grab her arm, basically decaying the whole thing off. Basically decaying the whole thing off. Which pretty much, you know, which pretty much makes her scream and bleed all over the place, as Shigaraki would only laugh. And Deku, getting out of his daze, would see this. The Roomie on the ground in pain, Shigaraki thing, and the Jack 7 picking Roomie up, about to finish her off. And as Deku sees this, sees that his friend, his only friend, about to get hurt, it only reminds him of what happened to his village. His people dying, all for one, and the other villains laughing, as this only enrages him. And as he gets angrier and angrier, red sparks would flow around Deku, as it gets more violent, until boom, his eyes would open. Horns would grow out from the side of his head. And as his back would pulse with energy, until boom, black wings would come out. As this would get, most of it would kind of get everyone's attention, all the villains, Shigaraki and them, and you know, the Jack 7, who would analyze Deku, and the person who is watching through the eyes of the Jack 7 would be in this, you know, random power, as Deku, in rage, would be, you know, yelling, you know, that Dragon Ball Z yell, that Dragon Ball Z rage, basically, as more red electricity would pulse around him, as Shigaraki would irritated with this boy, as he tells the Jack 7 to finish him off. So the Jack would let Roomie go, as he charges towards Deku with a punch. But as the punch comes close, Deku would easily parry it, and then punch the robot in his shoulder, basically punch the robot in the shoulder, taking its arm off. And then boom, he does a chop towards the thing's stomach, splitting it in half. And as the legs fall down, Deku would grab the upper half of the jack, flying in the air, boom, slamming it on the ground. And as it lays there, Deku's and a third eye would split from Deku's forehead. I don't know if I already mentioned that. And as that third eye splits, it would fire a laser towards the Jack 7, basically blowing it up into pieces, absolutely destroying it. And Shigaraki, seeing this, would be extremely pissed, as he's like, that was meant to kill All Might. As he would charge towards Deku, who has already landed next to Roomie. As for, I don't know if Deku can really do this or not, but, well, I don't know if the Devil Jin can really do this, but I don't care. As Deku would kneel down, his red aura would pulse around his hand as he would touch Miracle, as it regrows her arm. So yay! I was thinking about giving her like a robot arm, but no. I don't know. I'm not gonna remember that. So it just regrows her arm. I don't care if the Devil Jin can either do it or not. Don't mention it in the comments. It's just how it is. So yeah, it would heal her arm as she, slowly wakes up. And as for the charging Shigaraki, well, it doesn't end well for him, as Deku would easily just grab him, still in his Devil Jin state, by the way, as he slams Shigaraki to the ground and basically Omni-Man's that nigga. he's putting his left, right, boom, 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 blood, basically, splattering, pretty much going all over Deku as he keeps punching him. And, as he keeps punching him, Kurogiri would be, sort of freaked out as he would try to portal Shigaraki out of there, but Deku would fire a laser at him as he keeps punching Shigaraki until Roomie would tackle. Roomie wouldn't. No, she would kick Deku at the side of his head, a full powered kick, which would sort of send him flying as he kind of screeched on the ground with his Devil Jin would would kind of disappear. And Kurogiri, seeing this, would take this moment to teleport. Get out of here. Shigaraki out of there as he teleports himself, leaving the other villains. As Roomie would run towards the unconscious Deku that she out because of what she saw on Deku's face as he was pretty much beating down Shigaraki. because it just wasn't normal to her. So yeah, Shigaraki and Kurogiri escapes at the moment, and at that moment, All Might and the other heroes would, would finally come in and clean up the rest of the villains. And, he would look around, he would see Aizawa with his broken arm, as he would get some medics on him, and he would look towards the other two students that were here. Deku rubbing his face, wondering what happened. As, he closes his eyes, seeing, flashes of, red spark and it's just, it's just weird. And as he, stopped rubbing his face, he would open his eyes to see the blood on his hands. Which, doesn't really freak him out, but it only weirds him out because he's just wondering where all this blood came from. As he would, look towards Roomie, who was, concerned about him. And All Might, who is also concerned about Deku and really wondering where that blood came from, but for now he can't really deal with that right now, as he has to, get the other students who are dealing with with villains right now. So yeah, that pretty much happens as they would, get the last of the villains, as the police would come pretty much in question everyone of, well, not everyone. They would question All Might and some of the heroes on, what happened. Aizawa would be taken to the infirmary for his, his arm and all. And as for the class, they would be back on the bus, since they can't really do the USJ, because I guess I didn't really mention about 13 getting, fucked up, because she did. So yeah. And as, the class, would do that, would be getting on the bus, Deku would actually be in the USJ washing the blood off of his arms, as he wonders on what happened. And as he, keeps washing, he would look at himself in the mirror. And, as he would stare, he sees that his reflection would get, angrier and angrier. And as it gets angry, red sparks would flow around it, as it seems that it turns into some demon-like creature. like creature, as Deku said, this is like some weird hallucination, would only shake his head and then, washing his face on, this freak out. So yeah, while doing that, Roomie, who was looking for Deku, would enter the bathroom. As she would look towards Izuku. As Izuku would speak up saying, this is the boys' restroom, right? As Roomie, not wanting to hear some dumb shit like that would say, that's not, don't play with me, Kazuma. What the hell was that out there? You almost killed that villain kid. As Deku, who was, trying to leave the bathroom, would say, it's none of your business, Roomie. As Roomie, who would stomp in front of Deku, who is trying to leave, would say, I'm making it my business, Izuku. As the two would only stare at each other in silence for a while until Deku breaks it as he speaks up. Listen, Roomie, I have my own reasons for what I did. Bullshitting because he doesn't know what he did exactly, but he also doesn't really care. But he would speak up saying that it's none of your concern, Roomie, so just stay the hell out of my way. And Roomie, pissed with such an answer, she would actually take a swing towards Deku, as he would, block it with his arm. So yeah, Roomie would just, be attacking towards Deku, wanting answers, as Deku would easily block these joints. As this only confuses Deku as he feels that Roomie only sees him as a rival. Like, what is with, all this passion and anger? Why does she care so much of my well-being and all? And, us viewers, us listeners, we know how Roomie feels about Deku. So yeah, this small little fight would go on until Roomie, doing weird, type shit would confuse Deku, surprising him as she would slam him towards the floor, pinning his arms down, as the two would only stare at each other, but but a much longer period of time with this stare. And while this stare happens, Roomie would slowly lean in, as you could say. And, let's say half an hour would pass. Half an hour would pass as the class would be wondering where Roomie and Deku is. So, All Might, wanting to get, most of his students back on the bus, would go inside the USJ looking for the two. And as All Might is, looking around for Deku and Roomie, as he, would walk down a hallway, he would begin to hear oh boy would begin to hear some moaning sounds, as you can say. Moaning sounds coming from the bathroom, as you can say, which, kind of weirds him out. These sounds would be coming from the boys' restroom. So, All Might would take a peek inside, not trying to make any noise, only to see our boy Deku railing Roomie, as you could say. My boy was getting some dark-skinned bunny cheeks. Which, and, All Might, seeing this, this passion, as you could say, would be a little embarrassed as he just, makes his way out of the USJ, letting them two, do their thing. So, yeah. He would head back towards the bus, sit down. Some of the students would question on where the Deku and Roomie are. He would just say that they're he just wouldn't be able. He just wouldn't know how to say it. He would just tell them to just sit down, they'll be here soon, and that no one's allowed to go inside the US. So yeah, that pretty much happens. I just wanted to give y'all some spicy, you know what I'm saying? And maybe that was a bit too spicy. Too spicy, and you might say that, hey, that's a little rush. It's like, it's really not. These two knew each other for quite a while, so. And Roomie always loved Deku, if you didn't know that. So yeah. We just, let's say it's the next day. And Principal Nezu would inform Class A that they would be having a week off because they need to deal with these reporters and cops and all this crap on about them being safe by the students being safe and all that crap. So yeah. Well, Class A would be having a week off. And as for, Deku, he would be training in the same dojo that he met Roomie in, as he pretty much lives in there, as he would just be thinking about the power that he used against the Jack 7. As he knows he sort of blacked out from it, but he felt the power, and he's familiar, and it just feels familiar with him, and that he knows he used it against the robot. And he just feels that if to kill All For One, he needs to harness this power. But, as he keeps on training for a while, it would be interrupted by a blushing Roomie who would enter the dojo, as she calls out to Deku trying to get his attention. Not like his, trying to get his, I said that. Trying to get his, attention and all. As Deku would look at her and, have you come to train, Roomie? As Roomie would be like, no, I was just wondering where we stand after our little skirmish. As Deku would be like, oh, you mean where you basically threw yourself onto me? As Roomie, blushing even harder out of embarrassment, would say, no, it was just my animal instincts taking over. That's all. But that's not the point. That's not why I'm here, Deku. I was just hoping that maybe we could just go out somewhere since we have the whole week off. We could be using this whole week for training, Roomie. Well, that's Roomie be like, yeah, but we pretty much do training at the UA. When are you gonna take a break? As she would, grab Deku's arms, pulling him away from the dojo. As she says that we're gonna spend this whole week together, just me and you, okay? As Deku, not trying to, fight Roomie on this, would just walk alongside with her. So yeah, I know y'all don't really care about this intermission stuff type whatever joint. So yeah, we're gonna move on. As for the whole week, both Deku and Roomie were able to get to know each other a whole lot better, both emotionally and physically, if you catch my drift. And yeah, as the week is up and everybody is back in class, most of the students would be able to notice the different atmosphere between Deku and Roomie, as they see that it's not a rival type atmosphere between them. It's more of a, well, mostly coming from Roomie, it's more of a, how can I say this? More affectionative or some shit like that. A lot more affection coming from her towards Deku. Which, you know, for the boys, is just, they're just, you know, kind of jealous, as some of them feel that Deku was able to bag a hottie like Roomie. And, you know, the girls, well, they know exactly what happened, because I mean, come on. Roomie is friends with all the girls in class. So, do you think she's gonna keep her mouth shut when she, you know, pretty much got one of the, you know, best looking guys in school? No. She's gonna brag about it to her friends. And Deku is, well, he's not really gonna care whether she, you know, says anything about it or not. So yeah, some of the guys are jealous that Deku seems to be close to Roomie, but they just don't know how close they are. But the girls in the class, they know, and they're not gonna tell the guys, because why would they? So yeah, as that goes on, Aizawa coming inside, who has a arm brace around his fucked up arm, would just inform the class about the sports festival. And so Chaka would speak up saying, wouldn't that be, you know, a bit too dangerous to do with, you know, villains teleporting into into most of our important areas and all? As Aizawa would just say, was like, well, we are gonna have extra security and all, so you don't have to worry about that. And this sports festival is to show that we heroes are not gonna let these villains, you know, hold us back on what we have to do. And besides, this festival is extremely important to you guys. Not only will this get the attention of other hero agencies for you guys to enter. If you don't do well, other classes might end up replacing you, taking your spot as 1A. Because the other classes, the support corps, the researchers, and mostly the 1Bs are gonna want to get into this course. So yeah, they're gonna be trying their hardest. So you guys need to be trying your hardest if you want to stay. So yeah, the class would think on this until the bell would ring, as class would be over. And as they are trying to you know, make their leave out of the classroom, students from other courses or other classes would be there in their way, as Deku, seeing them, would sort of be a little irritated as he stares them down. Some of them some of them, the weaker ones, would sort of be freaking out. Not freaking out, but, you know, scared as some of them would back off a bit. But, you know, while that happens, Class 1B would come into the fray. As Deku would just, you know, find out, be like, oh, they're just trying to scope out the competition. Which he pretty much sort of says to himself, but his other classmates would hear this. And, you know, Class 1B would finally get to them as they're kind of being led by both Shinso and Motoma, who are, you know, Motoma's putting up a smug face while Shinso just has he has that, you know what type of face he has, that I don't care about that, you know, I don't give a shit face. So yeah, sorry. So yeah, I thought I saw something. But yeah, Shinso would step up towards Kazama, looking him up and down, as he says, so, you're a Zuku Kazama, right? The so-called top dog of 1A? Deku would just be staring at Shinso, not really answering his question. And Shinso would be like, well, I just wanted you to know that you and your 1A friends are not as good as you think. And 1B is gonna prove it by whooping all of your asses at the sports festival. Which, you know, gets some of those in Class A kind of angry. Mostly some of the guys. As, you know, Shinso would just, you know, go on and on about Class A, you know, talking shit about them. Along with Motoma also talking shit. And, you know, in the background of 1A, Roomie, who, you know, kind of wants to get Deku out of this situation in a way that, you know, doesn't have Deku beating the shit out of everyone in 1B, would be whispering to the girls about, you know, a little plan she wants to do. Some of the girls are a little embarrassed to go through with the plan, but Mina, Momo, and Sue would be interested in doing it. So yeah. So as Deku gets more and more irritated hearing this purple hair dweeb running his mouth, Roomie, Mina, Momo, and Suyu would grab onto Deku, kind of feeling my boy up, as you can say. Right in front of, you know, 1B. As just thinking about it is hilarious. As Mina would whisper in Deku's ear, "What are you doing, Kazuma? What are you doing, Kazuma? I thought you said after school." After school, you were gonna play with us, as Mina would kiss Deku on the cheek. As Momo, following Mina's lead, would speak up saying, "Yeah, my back is still hurting from what you did last time." As Suyu speaks up saying, "Well, maybe this time he can be a little softer on us." As Roomie, who is, on, the other side of Deku, saying, yeah, Deku, take responsibility from what you did. As Deku, pretty much of what the girls are doing, would just pull them towards him, and then look towards Shinso, saying, sorry, Shinsui. Not really caring what his name was. He doesn't even know his name, saying Shinsui. But as you can see, I'm a bit busy, so we can finish this conversation during the sports festival, okay? Later. As he would, walk past everybody with the 4 girls hanging on to him, followed by the rest of 1A. And, the amount of rage and jealousy Morima and Shinso are feeling is, it's beyond crazy. But, yeah, let's get that all out the way as we move on to the beginning of this. As we move on to the beginning of the sports festival. Yeah, y'all, I know y'all excited for this. As, seats would be filled. People are taking the day off to watch. The whole world is, pretty much taking their time to, watch, because I think someone said that more people watch the sports festival than the Olympics. But yeah, that just goes on as, the baddie herself, Mid, would, get everyone's attention as she welcomes everyone to, the beginning of the sports festival, as the entire crowd would cheer. But, before she can start anything, she would first have to introduce the classes. So she would first go through, the general studies. I don't know if the general studies actually were at the sports festival, and I do not care, but I'm just gonna say that. So she would say the general studies, which would get some cheers. And then she would say, second, the support course, which would, get some cheers and all. Third, sorry about that. Third, class 1B, which would get, a bit, louder cheers, as Mortimer having, smug face and all. And I know somebody's gonna say that Shinso is not really in. I don't know whether Monoma or Shinso is not in 1B or not, but I'm gonna say that they both are. They're both in 1B because I said so. So yeah, and Midnight, trying to be a little dramatic with this, that's just like, and last but not least, Class 1A. That's 1A would, step towards the ring, as this would get the loudest cheer, which sorta makes the other classes a bit jealous. So yeah, Midnight would speak up, saying, "Let's start this festival off with a speech from our top student, Izuku Kazama." As everyone would be cheering, and all some of the ladies in the crowd would be interested with this, young man, as he got the looks, as you can say. My boy got the looks. And Deku, not knowing that he had to make a speech, just make a speech on the sports festival, would well, he would just say some random shit that kind of gets everyone hyped up except Monoma and Shinso. So yeah, Midnight would start this finally begin the festival. Actually, spins the wheel or whatever, as the first challenge, the obstacle race, as everybody would get ready. So, boom, Midnight would start the race, as everyone would take off. Tortoroki would try to do some cheap shit, as he would freeze the ground, but Deku, see this, would easily dodge over this as he runs, while Roomie, being a bunny and all, would have already taken off farther than everyone else. As she would, dodge past the pits and then go through the mines, I guess, easily jumping over that. Going over the tight ropes, no problem. The 0-pointers can't even self-catch her, while Deku also jumping over the mines, passing the tightrope and all. And as for the 0-pointers, it would easily dodge some of them and punch through them, not trying to deal with their shit, as he would be punching through their legs, as it would kind of topple, getting in the way of some of the racers, as and as for Bakugo and Tortoroki, they would be extremely pissed at these two, as they would try to catch up. But yeah, the race would eventually finish, as Roomie would be first and Deku would be second place. And it only makes sense. Roomie has a fucking bunny quirk, and bunnies are fucking fast. Or rabbits, I don't know, I don't care. Or quirk, I don't know. So yeah, Roomie would get the million point headband, as some of the students who, would see her as an easy target would stare her down, trying to psych her out. But, it wouldn't work, as Midnight would announce the cavalry battle, as students need to find teams. Ignore that. So yeah, Deku, Ochako, and would join, as Hatsume, the technology girl, would want to join Roomie because she got first place and she'll get the most attention, so she'll be able to show off her babies. Get your mind in the gutter, people. But yeah, everybody would have their teams, as the cavalry would start almost everyone running towards Roomie, trying to take her headband, as Deku, who has been appointed as the defender, would be knocking these fools back with his skills and all, none of them even getting close with to the headband, as Bakugo would try to explode his way towards Roomie, but Deku would easily jump up, kicking him in the head, sending him flying towards the ground, as Tortoroki would try to shoot an ice pillar at Roomie, but Ochako, coming in clutch with gravity Roomie, sending her up as the ice misses. Sorry. Hatsuma would use whatever technology she had, I don't remember, as it, helps Deku with defending everyone, as, the cavalry battle would keep on going, and, Monoma, who has, people under his control, with projectile quirks, would, try to fire at Deku, but he would easily dodge it, as, the time would eventually keep going down, as everybody would keep trying to get Roomie, as she would easily dodge from them with her superior agility, as, Ida's thinking that, his super speed would easily catch up to her, but, Roomie is able to, pretty much hear Ida's engines from a mile away with her ears and all, as she would pretty much hear him coming, easily dodging the fool, kicking him in the back of the head, send him skiing on the ground, on the dirt and all, as the timer would finally end with Roomie being the winner of the cavalry battle. Well, yeah, Roomie's team being the winner of the cavalry battle. So yeah, we finally get to the best part of this sports festival, the 1v1 match. So So yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all this real quick. To make this sports, I'm gonna have to kick someone out of the roster in the 1v1. So Roomie is gonna be replacing Laser Belly Button Guy, as he didn't make it on the roster. So yeah. So as you know, everybody is sort of resting up, getting ready for the fights. Tortoroki would walk towards Deku and pretty much tells him waging a war against Deku, saying that he's only gonna beat him with his ice quirk. As Deku could care less what quirk Tortoroki wants to use, as he just ignores this, as Tortoroki is this only irritates him. So yeah, in the first round, it would be Deku versus Shinso. And let's not really waste time on this one. Deku doesn't really talk, so Shinso's quirk is rendered useless. Rendered useless no matter what Shinso really says. He can't really make Deku talk. So he would easily knock him out of the ring, as other matches would finally go on, and since Lizard Bed Belly is being replaced by Roomie, it's basically Roomie versus Mina. And you already know what Roomie wants. Roomie wins. So yeah, we move on to the actual important matches, as the second round would be Deku versus Tortoroki. And as Deku is making his way down the hallway, Endeavor would be there, as he would step in front of Deku, as he tells him to make Shoto use his fire side in this fight. As Deku, you already know it, would only ignore Endeavor, which only pisses off Endeavor. So yeah. Deku would step into the ring staring down Tortoroki, as the two, as Midnight would announce the fight, as the two would charge at each other. Tortoroki would, shoot a few icicles at Deku, as Deku would easily dodge this, bashing through the ice, as he would, try to swing on Tortoroki, but he would use his ice to defend, as he would, shoot out a few ice spots towards Deku, but he would, usually dodge most of them, as one of them was able to get a cut on his leg, which Deku doesn't really notice, as he would jump up, try to hit Tortoroki with an axe kick, as it would hit Tortoroki on the head, as he slams on the ground, kind of bounces off it, but he would, quickly roll back, sliding on the ice to gain some momentum, as he keeps firing more ice at Deku, but it's not doing anything, as the crowd is, loving this fight. So, as Tortoroki gets more and more mad at the fact that Deku won't go down quickly, sparks flaming sparks from his, side, would come up as, Tortoroki would only get more and more angry. And eventually, as he sees that he literally not getting nowhere towards, Deku, he would unconsciously fire a wave of flames at Deku, which Deku, who wasn't expecting this, would get hit by the flames. And it's like a huge wave of flames as it hits Deku, as everyone was kind of worried. And as the flames dissipate, we would see Deku with a limp, burnt arm, as the side of his face is burnt and the side of his leg is burnt, as Deku would be extremely irritated from seeing this, and from all this pain, his rage would grow and grow as purple energy would flow around him, as red electricity would come from his fist. And Roomie, knowing what this is, would sort of freak out. Would sort of be freaking out, as the purple energy would be healing the burns on Deku, as Deku, still in rage, would try and breathe as the purple energy would simmer down much, as, let's just say that he's able to calm the devil Jin inside of him down, as the purple energy would keep flowing, because unknown to Roomie, during that whole week they've been spending time together, Deku has been doing some sort of breathing exercises with his devil Jin, trying to access the power he has. So right now it's more like a imperfect devil Jin, or false devil Jin, as you can say, similar to like the false Super Saiyan or whatever. So yeah, as the purple energy flows around him and dissipate, Deku would open his eyes and dash towards Tortoroki. Boom! Punching him in the stomach, and basically knocks him out flat on his ass. And Deku is basically the winner. So yeah, the day moves on. Roomie versus Bird Guy. Roomie wins, duh. Third round, Deku versus Ida. Versus Ida. Deku wins. Other matches would go on until we get to Roomie versus Bakugo. And Bakugo's been wanting this match for a while too. He mostly wanted Deku, but he also wanted Roomie. As you know, she's been in Bakugo's school longer than Deku. And she was the only one that, you know, never praised him about his quirk, so it pretty much irritated him. So as Midnight begins the match, Bakugo would charge towards Roomie as she would easily dodge Bakugo's attacks. As he would go in with a strike, she would easily back away. As he would go for a kick, she would duck down. He would shoot an explosion with an uppercut. Using her rabbit quirk, she would jump in the air, easily dodging Bakugo as she goes for a kick to his head, knocking him to the floor. As she raises her legs up, try to go down for a kick, but Bakugo would easily block this with one arm as he shoots an explosion, right? And while he shoots the explosion, he would be launched in the air, holding on to Roomie as he tries to throw her out the ring. But she would throw her out the ring, right? But here's the thing, you have to touch the ground of the ring to be ringed out. So she would hit the wall and then bounce off of it, getting a hell of a lot of momentum, and then boom, hitting Bakugo with a momentum kick, sending him flying out the ring as he bounces off the wall onto the ground, knocked out, as Roomie's the winner. So yeah, a little break would happen until we finally get to the last round. Deku versus Roomie. So yeah, the two would step in. The two would step in as, you know, the crowd, everyone watching from TV, their TV, all the classmates are just, excited and are pretty much on the edge, on wondering who's gonna come out on top. So yeah, Midnight would start the match as Roomie would charge towards Deku, as she would, go in with a few kicks in, like, Chun-Li and all, but Deku would, dodge those joints, because my nigga's like Ken, so he parries all them shits, easily dodge blocking, as she would come in with a swing to his head, but he would easily, do some backwards type shit, dodging that joint, as he goes back, do some hand palm on the floor, then bounces off from it, kicking Roomie in the face as the two are in midair, as he would try to hit her in midair, but she would easily block it, kicking him at the back of his, on his back, sending him flying, but he would catch himself midair, landing on the ground as Roomie launches herself midair, midair, landing on the ground as she charges towards Deku once more. But she would, do some zigzag shit, bouncing from area to area with her superior speed as Deku would, try to keep up with her movements. And as she would, try to kick him from behind, he would do some smooth shit as he allows her to kick him in the back, but he would do it in a way as it kicks him in the back, but sort of slides onto from him as he around, turns around onto her back as she's, midair, as he basically grabs her, slams her on the ground, then throwing her into the air as he jumps up, kneeing her in the stomach as this, kind of gets all the air out of her lungs, but she would still have some fight in her as she jumps up from his knee and try to do some, diving kick, and as Deku is, falling down with this giant diving kick coming towards him, he would get kicked in the stomach. This is what he would want from Roomie, as even though she has some powerful kicks and it hurts like hell, he was easily able to grab her legs, slam her towards the ground once more, and pretty much boom, elbow her on the stomach as red electricity would come from his right hand as he bam punches her in the stomach one more time as it makes a huge crater, basically, knocking her out. So yeah, Midnight would announce Deku the winner, as Deku would pick up Roomie and take her to Recovery Girl, as this would get, everyone's everyone's respect from the crowd, as they feel that this was some sportsmanship that he's showing, but he would have done that for anyone else if they weren't Roomie. So yeah, Roomie would get healed as it's medal time. It's for the medal tie, and pretty much in third place is Bob, I believe. Then in second place it's Roomie, and first place is Deku. So yeah, All Might would come in, give everybody their medals, and basically praise them in their their own way, telling Bakugo that he needs to work on his anger, and saying that Roomie's fighting skills are amazing and all, and pretty much the same thing towards Deku, as the sports festival pretty much ends. And so does this what if. So yeah. Thank you for listening, good folks. I appreciate it. The other what ifs, either, Godzilla or Cumber. I don't know which one's coming out first. I'm coming out after this one. We'll see. But besides all that, thank you for listening and bye.